Hello, we are here again on Life and Living with Samson Olatunji. In our previous outing, we started talking about polygamy and how it affects the good life, how it contributes to or takes away from the good life that we desire to have and that we are trying to achieve. I want us to first know something. Again, want to re-emphasize that a person's marital life will either make or mar the quality of life, the standard of life they will live in a number of ways. We started looking at it from the pre-Judaistic point of view, from the point of view of Judaism, of Christianity, of Islam, and we said we were going to look at it from the humanistic and existentialist point of view for the benefits of those who do not subscribe to any religious faith. And that's what we want to do today. But before we go on, let me just implore you, if you are yet to subscribe to the station, to the channel, please do that now. You will be doing us a lot of good, and also I can assure you that you too will have some benefits to derive from doing so. Thank you very much. Yeah, you're welcome back. Let's set the ball rolling. Let's consider a pertinent issue. Do you possess the ability to satisfy a fellow mortal? How many humans have you met who are satisfied even with God's doings in their own lives? A good polygamist, I submit then, is a man who is better than the omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient God at satisfying fellow human beings. Have you ever observed that nothing that God does absolutely satisfies a man? And that's why some people say it's only when man is only in death that man is satisfied. Your mind must be running through a lot of stories, personal stories and stories of other people that you have been told, and you will see that we never get satisfied with God's doings in our lives. And so let's now suppose your wife has always expressed a satisfaction at your performance on all fronts, and loving, and she has remained loving and caring. Are you sure she will remain cooperative and loving as a result of your sustained performance, even after you have given her a rival? Come to think of it, if you barely succeed in taking care of a wife and your children, where is the assurance that your means will increase to accommodate the additional burden of a second or a third wife or a fourth one and their children? Don't you think your children too will be annoyed that, well, currently you have not been able to supply all their needs and you are now bringing additional people to come and share from what is not enough? Don't you think it is rather fatalistic to just presume that if you take on some more responsibilities, avoidable responsibilities, that then more resources will be attracted to you? It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. What about the issue of the much needed fairness to both or all of the wives? Will you interpret fairness as equality or as equity? If you interpret fairness as equality, it means you will supply the same quantity and quality of materials to even non-material resources to all the wives. And if you are going by the principle of equity, you are going to give to each according to their needs and according to what they deserve. Now, which one would you think is known as fairness there? If you go by the way of equality, you supply the same quantity and quality of human, material, and non-material resources to all of the wives and their children, you will be unfair, because except you want to deceive one another, they cannot all deserve things equally. And so if you give them equally, those that are deserving of better quality and much more, they will be annoyed that you are cheating them. Now, if you give them by the principle of equity, you look at their needs and how much they contribute to the resources of the family, those that get less will still be annoyed with you because they will not be sincere enough to know that they are getting what they deserve. And what will be the result? There will be enmity, there will be catastrophe in the home. How then can you ameliorate the venomous sting of envy and jealousy that is inevitable in a polygamous setting? Do I hear you say these things are avoidable? No, they are not. Have you ever read or heard about Leah and Rachel? Their husband was a man that God loved even before he was born. God expressed that love before he was born. But because he had two wives, sisters from the same parents, sisters who probably had been in love with each other before they became rivals in their husband's home. The rivalry was so intense, was so terrible, they were tormenting each other psychologically, and well, we don't have it in records that they did any other thing much more terrible, but who knows. And that reminds me of the examples of two of my uncles. I had a number of uncles who believed that their religion encourages them to be polygamous, and so they were polygamous. I had a lot of polygamous uncles, and I learned a lot from their lives. You see, let me give you just two of them as examples. I call the first one Uncle A, and the other one I call him Uncle B. Real human beings. Now, we had been together for years, and I had observed, I was a part of their family, of Uncle A's family for some years, first 4, 5, 6 years of my life. And I observed that all those years, I never heard any of the wives quarrel. I saw love radiating in the family. And when we relocated, we were near Uncle B. I realized that Uncle B's home was always noisy. He would be beating the wives that were quarreling, beating the children, all noise. The spectacle was horrible, was terrible, was something, a hell on earth. And sometimes I expressed my disgust at the quality of life that Uncle B's family had. But my elder sister said, you're just a kid. She laughed. She said, you are just a kid. You don't know anything. You know nothing. She said, on the surface, Uncle A's family was peaceful, but the devilish things being perpetrated by the wives against one another and against their children was more than could be taken care of in centuries. Well, of course, she also said, well, she knew that Uncle B's family, his wives too, might be doing some things underneath. Now, after I had grown a bit older and I began to have a better understanding of life issues, I realized that my elder sister was right. I look at what has become of the lives of Uncle A's children, and I know this couldn't have been from God. A lot of disasters, a lot of calamities, a lot of terrible things, even physical deformity, accidents befalling his children. Then do you want this kind of life for your own children? Don't you want to make your children happy? Even though you are not supplying all their needs, they are still contented because they are the only ones you are facing. Now, if while you are not able to supply all their needs, you still bring some other people to come and share from what is not enough, they will hate you. Even if they start showing love to you, they are doing that because of what they want to get from you. They know you hate them. They know you don't love them. So, I want to have us think critically about this issue. Because of what benefit will it be to a man after he must have left this world, that the children will not be able to take care of the problems he has created unnecessarily for them. If you may not even love your wife. You have a duty to love your wife because you chose her. But what about those children? If you love your children, no polygamists will say, if you consider it sincerely, if you go into polygamy, it means you don't have as much love for your children as you think you do. And that's why we are looking at it from that angle. And maybe subsequently we may also go deeper. But take note, a man who has led a good life is somebody whose life benefits his current generation and the generations to come. If you don't want to leave an evil legacy for your children and the generations that are going to come from you, you need to critically analyze what you believe about polygamy. I want to tell you, there has never been any prophet, whether living or dead, who was a polygamist that didn't pay dearly for his polygamous status. If there is anyone that you think was a friend of God and didn't suffer for it, then it means you are not getting your story from the right quarters. We know of prophets who are poisoned by their envious wife, their jealous wives. They were friends of God, they were servants of God, but they were poisoned. So, go online, look for information about whoever you believe in as your leader, and know whether he suffered for his polygamy status or not. Thank you very much for your time. Bye.